Thank you very, very much, Pastor Miller, and certainly to Pastor Aaron, and to all of the ministers that are assembled here, and especially to this family, to Jason, to Goree, to Goree, to the grandkids, and then to all of you who are assembled. Let me just take a few minutes, and I'm certainly standing here with Councilmember Dwight Borkins, the councilmember of District D, in which we reside, and someone who knew Chief Goree Anderson, and then there are other elected officials who are here as well. I certainly want to acknowledge Mayor V.P. Brown and his wife that are also present here this morning. Let me just say to this family, I had an opportunity to get to know your dad, grandfather quite well for almost 7 straight months. He was with me almost every single day. To Constable May Walker, let me thank you for loaning him to me in 2015 when I was running for mayor. Every single day for 7 straight months, Chief Anderson was with me. When he would work during the course of the day, he would leave his shift and Constable Walker, as you know, he would leave your office and come directly and pick me up, and we were off for the rest of the evening. On weekends, would pick me up early in the morning, and then we were off and at it for the entire day. He was the one that assembled the detail that was with me for those 7 months. He put every single one of those persons together. He put them name by name. He chose them, he assigned them, and they were with me. Chief Anderson was the one who was driving. When he was with me, there'll be one crew in the morning, Monday through Friday. But as soon as he left Precinct 7, he would come and take it from there, and he drove the rest of the way. And we went everywhere. On Sundays, from 5 to 7 churches on a Sunday morning, and we made every stop. When it came to parades, we were right there with his crew. In the evening times, we covered a whole lot of ground. Church folk and non-church folk, sinner and saint alike. We covered those areas. Picnics, we were there. They made me feel like I was President Barack Obama. That's just how they did it, and on a very professional and respectful basis. There was a difference to this third campaign than the first 2 that I ran. The first 2, we just kind of was a hit and miss. But that was something different in this one, because from the time that it started, it carried a whole different flavor, whole different organization. And he brought a great deal of professionalism to it. I kept kind of trying to wonder sometimes when we were out on the trail, then these bikers would intercept us and would be a part of our routine. When I looked in this program, it finally came to me why he knew those bikers so extremely well. He called on all resources to help out with this Turner campaign. And I want to thank him, not just for me, but for my daughter as well. He and that crew took very good care of me. And I can say to you today, but for Chief Goree L. Anderson, I would not be standing where I stand this morning
as the mayor of the fourth largest city. And I'm grateful for what he did and that entire team did. He put them together. He never asked me for one dime. Not one dime of campaign money was given to him or his crew. Not one dime. And neither did he ever ask me for one. The only thing that he wanted of me at the end, on December the 12th of 2015, was thanks for helping to make it happen. And on that day, when the campaign was over and the results were announced, he passed his detail over to the detail that's now operated by the city. But for his labor, and but for his dedication, and but for his commitment, I would not be standing here today. And for that, I will forever be grateful. And because of this guy, I can therefore say on this day, therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim April 30th, 2018 as Chief Goree L. Anderson Day in the City of Houston. If I could bring them back to the audience, I would bring them back. If I could ask the members of City Council to vote to bring him back, we would vote him back. But the reality is he ran his race. He finished his course. He did what God assigned him to do. And because of him, I stand here this day. Goree Anderson, rest well. Your labor was not in vain. Good morning, church. Good morning. Most of all, I want to say to all of you, thank you for being here. Goree was a very proud person, and he was a very quiet person. He never wanted to be in the forefront. He always stood in the back, but he was always there. I met Goree in the late 70s. He was working for the Houston Light and Power. He was an executive there. And he had joined the Sheriff Department Reserve, and he was so interested in law enforcement. He would come to the police department when I was in patrol, and he wanted to know all about the Houston Police Department. And after I transferred out of patrol in community service, and I was in charge of a law enforcement student club, he would come to the police department. He would help me train I had a group of explorers, and he would help train those kids with me. And he was so interested in law enforcement. So after that, I'm going to try to say it real fast. After that, Lee Brown decided he was going to run for mayor. And I told Goree, I said, Goree, we've got to do something to help him. And exactly what Mayor Sylvester Turner told you about what he did for him, we did the exact thing for Lee Brown. We picked him up every day. We stayed with him in all his functions. And one thing that stands out most of all, one day we rushed over to Mayor Brown's house to pick him up, and he wasn't there. We were late, and he left us. And we were all so upset. We didn't know what happened because we knew that Mayor Brown didn't drive anywhere. So we finally found him, and we apologized for being late. And he said, okay, just don't do it again. But all of those times, the whole entire campaign, the first campaign of Mayor Lee Brown, Goree and I both drove him around night and day. I supplied the car and the gas, and Goree did the driving. And we really did enjoy it. And we were so happy when Mayor Brown was elected. And then soon after that, I retired from the police department. But I kept in touch with Goree. He would call me all the time. And what he talked about most of all was he talked about his boys. He always talked about his boys. And he said, my little princess, my daughter, he was so proud of his kids. And I would tell him all the time, I wish I had your kids. They are so disciplined, and they're just really good young men and women. And he was dearly proud of them. And then I ran. He was with me every minute of the day. He took me everywhere. We ate together. We went to functions on Saturday and Sunday. And as Mayor Turner said, it's a grueling thing to run for a position. And especially when you have 17 opponents like I had. And we were really out there. And he was right there with us, with me. And after that, when Sylvester, he told you his story, and Goree, we talked about it, and I said, I really want to do something for Sylvester because I think he would be a great mayor for the city. And I said, I'm going to call him and see would he accept you being his security. And I'll supply the car, and I'll pay for the gas. And we did that. And he was with Sylvester, as he has told you, all the way. That was the kind of person he was. He was very quiet. Anytime you saw me, you would see him, and he would always be in the back. And I always told him, come, I've got to see. He said, no, you are the constable. And I was so proud of him because sometimes as females, we are often forgotten. But with him, he wanted me to be the constable. And his words were, she's number one and I'm number two. And church, I can't even remember all the things because my life was consumed with Goree. He was my best friend and pleasing to me. They all knew him. Everybody knew him. And they know that anything he could do for you, he would do for you. But church, I'm here to tell you, he did everything for me. And I'm just so thankful to him that I had the opportunity to be his friends. And I want his kids to know he truly loved you. That's all we talked about. We talked about you on a daily basis. All for the last 20 years, I have eaten lunch with Goree. I don't know what I'm going to do, but what I do know, I'm going to pray and I'm going to take care of your kids anytime you need me because his life was my life. When you say you really have a true friend, Goree was a true friend. Thank you, church, for being with all these kids. Thank you so much.
named Jason. I'm Goree's oldest son. I want to start by thanking everybody for coming out today. I know he'd be touched to see how many people gathered here to celebrate his life. Some people came from as far as California to be here, so it means a lot. Thank you. I'm through from Station 13 right over there. Appreciate y'all coming out. And I want to give a special thanks to Constable Walker and all of Precinct 7 for being as supportive as y'all been over the past week. Really don't know how we would have handled this without y'all. Well, he left us too soon, didn't he? He was only 65. It's too soon. He was a loving dad, a good provider. I remember when we were little, he used to work multiple jobs to make sure we were fed, clothed, sheltered. He wasn't afraid to work his tail off to support his family. It's a good trait that he passed on to us. We had a lot of fun times together. We used to go camping, go on trips. My dad was big into motorcycles. When we were kids, he used to take us on rides. I'm too scared to ride one now as an adult, but it was always fun riding with my dad. I always felt safe when I was with him. It was my dad that got me interested in the fire service also. I don't remember exactly how it came up in conversation, but I remember one day he told me that the fire department was hiring 300 cadets. It got my attention. So I asked him to tell me what he knew about the fire service. He did. I found it interesting. And before this conversation, we had the idea of becoming a firefighter come across my mind. And I don't know if I would be one today if it wasn't for me putting that bug in my ear. You know, over the years, I've met several people that have lost their parents at a much younger age than us. And I've never taken it for granted, still have both my parents. I know that to have both of your parents still at the age of 32 is a blessing. But if I had it my way, of course, I would have kept them around for a lot longer. So Dad, we promise we're not going to let your grandkids forget about you. They're going to know all about their grandfather. Things won't be the same without you. We love you. We miss you. But come one of these days, we'll see you again on the other side.
Blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord. And in that law does he meditate both day and night. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. I had the pleasure, privilege to meet Brother Goree 6 years ago. My voice is a little trembling, and he was my teacher and mentor for 6 years. I learned more about the Bible with him, my pastor, and Sister Ava than I've learned my whole life. I'm 51 years old. This man taught me weekly, twice a week. When I had something I didn't understand, I would call him. He'd tell me what it meant. I never forget, a few weeks ago, he looked at me and he said, "You got that thirst for the word, don't you?" He was laughing. I said, "Yeah, I want to learn." You know, when you had that conversation with Brother Goree, you talk for an hour, you only going to talk about 15 minutes. He's going to have the other 45 minutes. Because he can talk. And that's what made him a good teacher. Whenever I called him and said, "Goree, I'm cooking Friday night," his words were, what time and what you cooking? I'm coming. He loved my cooking. He loved my sister Tony's cooking. But he was a good friend. Very knowledgeable, very wise. I learned so much just being around him and talking to him. He would come over and we'd sit outside, smoking cigars and talking for a couple hours. Well, he talked about 2 hours, 45 minutes. But that was Brother Goree, if you knew him. You know, I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss racing to the coffee pot on Sunday morning, trying to beat him before he drank a bottle of coffee. You know, I'm gonna miss him calling on me to pray after class or pray before class. I'm gonna miss just calling, just mess with him. I just jack with him sometimes, you know, call him, joke around with him, you know. But he was like a mentor and a big brother to me. And I feel like I lost my own brother. Thank you.
I want to thank each of you for kind words. I am quite sure that many of you, if not all, you have already read the obituary